Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel for another video. I'm so glad that you guys are here today, and happy Wednesday. Yes, you'll be seeing this on Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. As you can tell from the title down below, in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you, it's actually the second part to my three-part little series of sharing my family's favorite reading curriculums that we use in our homeschool. And today's primary focus is of course going to be the victory drill method. On Monday's video I shared with you how we used and kind of what the pros and cons were when we used the 100 Easy Lessons, or learning to read in 100 Easy Lessons. I love that book, I really do. It works, it's effective, especially when you are teaching the little ones how to blend the sounds out. It's amazing because of the fact that the little people actually have to use their fingers and use the arrows, and they can slide across and actually visually see those letters blending together. So I loved that book for that reason. It was fantastic. And I also shared with you on Monday's video that the three curriculums I'm going to be sharing with you are very different and serve different purposes. As I shared with you on the 100 Easy Lessons, the purpose that it served our family was to give us a great foundation and jump start on blending the letters together, learning and feeling how the letters go together, if that makes sense. But yes, today's video, as I mentioned before, we're going to be focusing on the Victory Drillbook. The curriculum itself does come in a couple different parts, which I will turn the camera around here in just a little bit and we'll do kind of like a simple flip through, and I'll explain more in detail about kind of how it works and how we use it. But this is the actual main Victory Drill book here. It's the main part of the curriculum. You can kind of get by using this as a standalone item if you're supplementing with other things, which I'll kind of get into later. And then if you do have a little one that's not quite ready for the actual drill work that you'll be seeing in the Victory Drill book, they do have a pre-drill book, which is great for preschoolers, and then we'll go through this as well. It has handwriting and things like that. It's also great. And then it also has the Victory Drill Reading Program, the Teacher's Guide. And then in the back of this Teacher's Guide, there's going to be some other worksheets and everything like that for your students, so this is a great addition too. And then I also have the actual Victory Drill book worksheets. And this is something that I got for the 2022-23 school year, so we will not be actually starting this part of it until the fall as part of our actual reading curriculum. I have the first grade CLE reading curriculum for my first grader, or going into first grade, so he'll be doing that as well as this. So doing those worksheets as well as just using this. But yeah, that is everything for this, and it actually also comes with a CD, and the CD is actually an instructor that goes through every lesson, talks about all the sounds and kind of blends them out. So if you as a teacher and if you as a student together want to sit down and actually listen to how the vowels are pronounced and how every word on each page is pronounced, that's also a great addition to you, especially as a teacher if you really want to have a sound kind of background before teaching your little ones. So for me, I actually love Victory Drill Book, and as a disclaimer, this is actually the exact same curriculum that I kind of learned how to fluently read with when I was little. If you're new here, I'm a second generation homeschooler, and this is the exact same book that we kind of grew up using. Anyway, I love it. I have always loved it, and even when I was little, I remember having so much fun turning the stand timer on or the little kitchen timer on for that 1 minute to see where I was on my either charts, or to see if my siblings and I can kind of compete with each other and see how many words we can read in that 60-second time frame. But I just remember really enjoying it. But I specifically remember it being very helpful in the process of taking a word or a sentence and taking it from the decoding phase into the reading phase. And what I mean by that is it's really easy to forget that until you can actually decode a word quickly, when you read a full sentence from left to right, it's not probably going to make sense by the time you get to the end of the sentence. I know for me growing up, and this is the same for my kiddos as well, and that's when we're doing the language arts curriculum, they've learned the process, and this is even the same for the 100 Easy Lessons. It's a great beginning process as far as like when you're learning how to sound out the letters, and even in our Good and Beautiful language arts curriculum, it's phenomenal. I love the literature and everything like that they read and everything in that curriculum. However, it's easy to forget that when the kiddos are actually reading their little readers and when they're reading their books, sometimes when they're slowly trying to blend out the words, especially when they're more challenging words mixed in, that by the time they get to the end of the sentence, they've kind of forgotten what the meaning is. And so you can't really start fluently reading until you've done more decoding and you've learn to like train your brain to think really quickly when it comes to doing the actual sentence reading. And so one of the reasons that I loved Victory Drillbook growing up is it took me from the actual decoding process to, okay, now I can fluently read because I've had so much practice every single day of quickly reading the lists. And as I'll show you here a little bit during the flip through, that was a huge aspect in me and being a good fluent reader, was actually having to train my brain to think quickly. And I love the way that Victory Drillbook does this. The whole thought process behind the curriculum, it's not 100% centered around the speed of how you read or the speed of like the time that you read, but a huge aspect of it is. We're gonna go ahead and get into the flip through so I can share with you more about it, why I absolutely love it, and why I incorporated it into our homeschool. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I thought I would go ahead and share with you the Victory Pre-Drill book. This is fantastic for your pre-readers and is a great introduction before you actually hit the Victory Drill book. But it's going to introduce, and I really like this, it has like the basic handwriting, which you're gonna do on your first page every single day. And then on the second page, it's going to immediately introduce you to the actual phonics sounds. So short I is a sound you hear at the beginning of igloo. So you're gonna say the name of each picture, color the pictures that begin with I as an igloo. So they're gonna do that. But it's the same way going through all of the different letters that they're gonna be introduced to in the Victory Drill book. Then they're gonna be introduced to vowel matching and everything like that, short vowel review. But I really like how right away they're introducing that into like your phonics aspect. And then once you get to page 35, you're gonna go to your lesson 1 of blending your consonants and short vowel sounds. And then again, they're very beginning, they're going to be introduced to blending your consonant and vowels. It's just gonna be short vowel sounds for each one. And then again, it's gonna be working on doing this quickly. So they're gonna do ka, 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 and then da, 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 like everything like that, as quickly as possible to kind of get the feeling of what they will be doing in the Victory Drill book. And again, some beginning writing. You're gonna go through some more letters. And then you're going to be reviewing, so say the name of each picture, and then you're going to be writing the missing sound. But this is a great introduction before going into the full-on Victory Drill book. So this is the actual teacher guide for the Victory Drill book reading program. I do highly recommend getting a teacher guide for this program because it's really going to help you as the teacher understand a lot behind like why the program works, why it is like this, and everything like that. But you're gonna go into like the contents of what the program is, your introduction. You're going to be learning about why they use the phonics and then why the Victory Drill book. And then it goes into kind of like the general description of high-speed phonics and kind of what that is. And then it goes under the description here. It is actually not high-speed reading. The design of the Victory Drill book is not to prepare the student for speed reading. Its basic function is also not to teach reading comprehension. That comes later from language arts curriculum, and I definitely agree. So the whole reason why they do high-speed phonics is letter sounds plus sounding out rapidly equals your high-speed phonics. And then it talks about kind of what the goal of your high-speed phonics is. And it says the goal of the high-speed phonics program is to teach the sounding out of new words rapidly. As a child sounds out letters and then words, he proceeds to read those words instantly. Speed is absolutely necessary to enhance the transition from sounding out individual letters to reading whole words. And so, you know, then it goes into talking about who can use high-speed phonics, everything like that, and then how to use high-speed phonics and everything from build from the simple to more complex, follow a logical order, which we'll get into later here, using the high-speed phonics approach, your attack skills, and then sounding out the words. And then on the next page, this is going to be your designated speeds. And this is actually really helpful. So this chart is going to kind of tell you what grade your kiddos are going to be depending on how many words they can read per minute. As I said, the basis of this course is kind of timing. And so when you set that timer for 1 minute, your kiddos will see how many words that they can read in 1 minute, and that will be their grade level. kind of, so to speak. And so the whole purpose of this book and curriculum, which we'll go ahead and look here at in a second, is to get them at or above grade level simply by doing repetition and practicing and everything like that. But all timings must be for 1 minute duration. However, there are some pages in the Victory Drill Book that have sentences and short stories, and those are the things that don't get timed. Those are strictly for fun. The general procedures, remember not to skip any pages, and this is really important as well to remember that each page must be passed before moving on to the next page. So yes, that was a really, really important thing to remember as well. And I also love how they talk about and introduce sight words in this program. I mentioned in my pros and cons video of 100 easy lessons that I was not a fan of how they introduce sight words to the kids, about how they tried to make them a part of a regular part of the speech and not a separate thing. And I really like that they actually acknowledge the fact that they are very different. So sight words must be memorized. Do not attempt to sound them out. It says the English language is about 87% phonetic. The remaining 13% of English words are irregular in their spelling and must be memorized. So when approaching a sight word, tell the student the word immediately and then encourage him to memorize it. So with this chart, which I'm going to show you kind of how we use this chart, I have an upcoming kind of homeschool with us day in the life video coming out in the next week and a half or so. And I'm going to kind of walk you along with us as we do one of these lessons. But we memorize about 5 of these sight words at a time. So I have put 5 different sight words on in index cards. We'll memorize those. I'll add 5 more, etc., and then we'll keep doing it. So those are your sight words that you're going to be learning in all the Victory Drill program. Then it's going to go into your phonetic and spelling rules. And again, this is just all things that is a great addition as a teacher. It's going to teach you grading, your sentence pages, memorizing pages. And then the most important part for homeschooling is learn how to do Victory Drill at home, timing without tears. And the couple of the biggest tips that they share is keep practice sessions short, be consistent, be accurate, identify difficult words, have fun, remember the big picture, which is very important when teaching your little ones to read, because every day is going to be so different and it's going to be up and down. And then parental attention, keep sweet and always remain calm. So that was a good addition there, especially to having a teacher guide. And again, it's just going to go into a lot more introduction. And then this is another reason why I highly recommend grabbing the teacher guide as well, is it's going to actually have in here your page-by-page instructions. So I'm starting on page 10, which we're going to go ahead at this point and open up the actual Victory Drill Book. So we are going to open up to page 10 in our Victory Drill Book. The reason why I say that the teacher guide is very important is it's going to have your page-by-page instructions. So by page 10, before you introduce your child to your actual reading columns, it's going to have you introduce the K sound. The K sound may be spelled C-K or C-K. So refer to spelling rule 2. And you go back to here, and you are going to look at your spelling rule. So spelling rule 2. If a word has a K sound and it's followed by the letter E, I, or Y, use letter K, as in kite or keep. If the K sound is followed by A, O, or U, use letter C. So that's a spelling rule number 2 that they will be introduced to by the time they get to page 10 in the Victory Drill Book. So it's not just about speed reading. You're introducing spelling rules. It's a really hardcore, like, actual phonics program, which is great. Great. But again, it focuses on that fluency in reading and getting your speed up to par. And then it says, help the student listen for the K sound and for the sound that immediately follows the K. So, and then it also says, use the exercise for spelling rule number 2 on page 48 of this guide. Again, you'll need this because on page 48, going to have your spelling rule number 2, and they're going to go through that. So a word beginning with a K sound should be spelled with K and followed by E, I, or Y. So they're really pushing on the memorization of all the different spelling rules, and then they just write the words and fill in that. So to get into the actual Victory Drill Book part, if you are wanting to do kind of similar to what I am currently doing, and that is just using this as a supplement to your already developed either reading curriculum or your language arts curriculum, and you are just needing something to help your kiddos with the speed reading part, so they can then more coherently put their sentences together, as my kiddos struggle with as far as the actual speed part. Like, they can blend out the letters, they can blend out the words, but as again, it's one of the missing links that I see in a lot of different reading curriculums is focusing on the actual speed processes. Anyway, so this is how the book is laid out, and it's very, very simple. As I said, this is fantastic if you're just wanting to supplement with your already current reading program. But they start, you're gonna have your words that end in T in the first section. The next section is N, then M, and then D. So the child at my little guy's level will need to read about 35 to 40 words per minute. So he'll normally get through the first whole line. So he'll just go at, sat, mat, rat, and mat. And it's nice because the way this kind of works is, since every group of words has the same ending, which you'll see here, a lot of them have the same ending and the same sounds, and they're grouped like that on purpose because in your brain, it's very quick and easy, and you read very quickly when they all had the same similar sound. So at, sat, mat, rat, and nat is an example of they all sound very similar. However, one thing I will mention is it's really important to switch it up on a day-to-day basis so your kiddos don't memorize and then they just are doing it by memorization and not actually working on the speed reading aspect of it. So I would recommend switching it up either on a week-to-week basis because, as I mentioned before, they recommend that the student not turn the page to go on to the next row of stuff until they've completed this entire page. So I would recommend that either every other day or every couple days you switch it up. You can go from left to right on the top, so you can go at, lap, nap, lap, man, and things like that, or you can go down. You can pick random groups of words just so they're not actually memorizing, because little people are great at memorizing and they're very visual and it's very easy for them. So it's funny because the first week my little guy did this and we got up to that point in the first week, but a lot of them were memorized and I didn't even catch on until the end. I was like, okay, well, we're gonna jump around now. So keep that in mind as well. And they actually do stress that in the teacher guide and in this guide, saying that make sure that you recognize if your kiddos are memorizing versus actually reading, because the whole point is actually, speed reading. It's also going to remind you of the spelling rule. And then it's going to show you what spelling rule that they will be working on. So you're going to just flip back here a couple of pages. One, which is going to be what they learned in that very first lesson. It's the first rule is going to be in a one-syllable word where there is one vowel followed by a consonant. The vowel is usually short, as in cat. So they're going to be learning all their phonetic rules while they are practicing their speed reading. And again, this is all comes with repetition and everything like that. I guess my little guy, he's on the grade 1 level, so he's at 35 words per minute on that first page. We have not moved on to the second page yet. We've just been adding on and kind of practicing speed reading this way. And another important thing too, and I remember this part being really fun for me growing up, is the actual timing part, but just as a fun way to remember to keep it fun, keep it light, keep it in a game, like a game form, because honestly, when you have a timer as speed reading, it feels like a game. And that's why I love this, because it's not so stringent and strict to the point where you cannot have fun with it. It is all about, it's fun and exciting. And they also recommend, in this book, they also recommend that you as a teacher, when your child has completed an entire page, so let's say when your child has completed all of the columns, he's gotten every word correctly, and they also stress the importance of making sure it's not just about speed, it's about accuracy. So speed and accuracy. So once he's completed the whole page without making a mistake and things like that, they really stress the importance of having a very big celebration. So at the end of the page, you either make cookies, you have a dessert, you do a fun show and tell that night, just something that celebrates them for accomplishing something so great. So it's really, I love the way they stress the importance in this curriculum, and they mention it in the actual teacher part of this guide and in the actual teacher guide here, just the importance of when your kiddos do accomplish something, even though for us it might be something simple as completing a page, just celebrate that actual victory and celebrate them because they accomplished something great. They're learning how to fluently put those words together. And yeah, just celebrate it, have fun with it, make it into a game. I know I have heard a lot of people that will also put together some other fun things to go with it. And I, again, will share that with you in the next coming video here in the next couple weeks when I share kind of like a glimpse into us actually using this program. The last part I'll share with you really quick is the actual worksheets part. And this is a great addition too, but again, only if you're going to be using this as your actual core phonics curriculum, which again is fantastic for this. But again, you're going to read the 2 words in each box. If they rhyme, color the circle. So this is a great addition. Again, a great program if you are wanting a great phonics program. I highly recommend it. I really do. And at the end here, it has all of your like little answer guides here, as you can tell. I just put in the back of this notebook as too, but again, we are not going to be starting this part and this aspect of it until the fall. But yes, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Well guys, thank you so much for being here and for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of seeing a glimpse into one of my favorite homeschooling resources when it comes to teaching my kiddos how to read, and not just reading, but reading fluently. But yes, I hope you guys have a great Sacred Week. On Friday, I will be sharing with you kind of how we have used in the past and are using currently the Alpha Phonics method, and kind of how we incorporate that into the 100 Easy Lessons, the Victory Drillbook. We don't, by the way, we don't use all 3 of these at the same time. We kind of add in a few lessons here and there, apart from the Victory Drillbook, which is a regular activity right now. But we don't use Alpha Phonics and 100 Easy Lessons all the time right now, just supplementing as needed. But yeah, I hope you guys come back for Friday's video as I share with you the last part of the series of what our top 3 favorite reading things are that we use in our homeschool. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your week, and God bless. Bye.